And welcome back to another Rugpull recap.
Episode 1.
Yes, another first episode of Rugpull Recap, the series where we recap the recent rug pulls.
And there's a lot of them, probably more than we could even keep up with. I know this past week was a big week for rug pulls, a lot of big names, a lot of little names, but the two that we kind of dived into were Upcoin and Nano Doge.
And oh boy, did they pull a rug. So let's start off with Upcoin. So what's an Upcoin?
What is Upcoin? So Upcoin, we found out about. So Upcoin was a coin created and promoted by a really big YouTuber, Upshod. I personally
That guy?
Didn't know much about him. Someone hopped into our Telegram group about a week prior to the rug, asking Ryan to look at the contract to see if there's anything strange going on there. And that was actually my first introduction to Upcoin and who Upshod was, to an extent, because interestingly enough, Ryan, you did talk to him for a little bit.
Yeah, there was just one message. So after someone in our chat on Telegram had asked me about this, because we'll get some questions a lot about, different tokens and things if it looks like there's a rug on there, and I'll dive into the contract and check it out a little bit. So my first impressions on this one, without knowing anything about the guy, the project, the YouTube channel, I've never even heard of
The
them.
utility.
The utility, I didn't know about anything. I just got the contract address and looked at the code. And the code is actually just a standard ERC20 basic template, bare bones contract.
So it didn't really have any functions in it or really any sort of...
Nothing. I mean,
Nothing.
It just has the bare minimum requirements for ERC 20 token.
Right, which
So-
leads you to wonder, what was the purpose of this token? How does this token even gain value? I mean, what can you do with a token that's really bare bones like this?
What's
with the
unique,
contract?
Yeah, with 1 million out there, what's this person's edge? What's unique? What's new? And there wasn't anything. So right off the bat, to me, it looked like it was probably a rug because it was a copy and paste token template. And without knowing anything about it, that's what I thought. So then I figured out that the utility was supposed to be for tipping performers or YouTube people or something like that.
If on their website it did state that.
Right. Tipping or something, which
Yeah.
makes sense if all you're doing is tipping. All you need to do is transfer a token. Then sure, yeah, you can just use a basic, just the basic template would work. So without knowing anything about it, those are my first impressions. That was my first guess, but you never know.
Right, you never know. And
Until-
if you hop back to that screenshot where we're discussing it in our Discord, you had right off the bat, it says most likely a rug because it's just a bare bones ERC20 token template, and the person that was asking about it said the dude is uber doxed, so I'd be surprised. And what do you know, less than a week later,
Yeah, how many
Shit hit the
followers?
fan.
How many followers did he have on YouTube? It was quite a bit, right?
I don't know. He had a little under 100,000 followers.
Something pretty substantial.
If my memory serves me correctly, I personally wasn't a follower. It seemed like his YouTube channel was really geared towards Doge. He was a Doge enthusiast, influencer type of guy, but he was also revered as level-headed, intelligent. People in the community seemed to respect him. He wasn't he wasn't really the type of guy that was making scandalous videos. He was kind of just a level-headed guy, and that was one of the reasons why people in our community were trying to get him and Ryan to talk about some of the stuff you're making. But
Right, yeah, I'd send him a message, and we were going to try and do a video. I don't think so anymore.
yeah,
but,
it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah. So anyways, let's go into what appeared to go down. It was the price.
Right. So when you hear about there's a rug pull, it's was it really a rug pull? You really have to do a little investigating. I mean, was it just a whale dumping? Was it, or who was it, and what happened, and what's the story?
Zoom out on the charts because it's hard to see if you're zoomed all the way in. Because people were talking about Safe Moon Cash rug pulled recently, but zoom out on the chart. I mean, it clearly just fizzled out, and there was a large transaction at the end of the fizzle. It wasn't like this, where this is the entire history of the token.
Right.
The entire history of the token. And you can see that there was just a handful of transactions that must have caused this.
Yeah.
And what were that handful of transactions? Well, actually, let's see. After this happened, then our guy Upshod, he released a video. And
Right.
let's just check that out real
So
quick and
wait,
see what he.
before we go into the video, right when all these transactions happened, I mean, he went into deleting his Twitter account. The website surprisingly stayed up, but they did remove the team page of the website. His YouTube was technically still up, but all of the content had been removed, and he placed a random like news banner in there. I'm not quite sure. I mean, he said he does go on to mention in the full version of this video, I'm not sure if this clip says it, that he was like, in the midst of him panicking, I suppose he thought he was going to maybe start a news channel later. That's what he said. But as we all know, big channels like this that have a lot of following can be sold off for money. People do that. I don't know if that was his intention.
People do
that.
Do.
I don't know if that was really his intention. That's just kind of
Yeah,
speculation.
A lot of followers, regardless of who they are, is worth some money. So
Yeah.
he probably wanted to save the YouTube account, delete the videos, hold on to it, try and sell it, or restart it later. Who knows?
Yeah. And this clip that you're about to see didn't come out till the next day. It was complete silence on his end, save a few text messages he had with one of the developers that he burned hard. But then, yeah, he released a video.
So let's check out what Mr. Upshod had to say about the Upcoin. How did he feel?
I knew what was going to happen, and it sure did. So whales started selling. Price dropped like, I don't know, 15, 20% in instant, like that. I freaked out. I apologize for that, but I did. I sold some of mine. My son sold his. And then I sold some out of some of the airdrop wallets. Shut down my YouTube channel, shut down my Twitter. I don't know, went into defensive mode or something. And that wasn't good. I freaked out.
Stop breaking the law, asshole!
I didn't know that was at the end of it.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, someone added that.
Yeah. So he said he was sorry though, right?
Yeah, okay, so I watched the full version of this video, and I will admit at first, but personally, I think it's within my nature. I'm just like more of an empathetic person. So I was like, like dude was on under a lot of pressure, whatever. But then like that was my immediate reaction. I did feel a little bit of empathy, but then the more and more I thought about it, the more and more I was like, nah, this is just not right. I mean, a 15 to 20% correction.
Right. I mean, come on. The price, like, I don't know, went up 1,000%, and then he got scared because whales were selling. Well, we'll look at that here.
Yeah, So that night, I stayed up. I was listening to someone was podcasting live and discussing it. Supposed friend of Upshod, and he claimed he had a text message that Upshod sent to him, warning him that whales were selling and that he should sell his
We have that text message right
Upcoin
here.
And if you see the timestamp, on that day it was sent at 9:49 p.m.
So
this person's time, of course.
let me read this here. So we got sell your Upcoin. Whales are selling. This was a text message from Mr. Upshod to the developer, right?
No.
Who's this to?
This is not to the developer. This was from a entertainer, media friend of him, Steven Steele.
Oh, okay, so a friend of his, so a personal friend of his. So when he sent Mr. Steven Steele, who sounds like a porn star name, but I don't know him, so I'm not going to judge for sure. At 9:49, a message told him to sell his Upcoin. Awesome, says Steven Steele. Cool.
Well, no, those are previous messages.
Oh, that was previous.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry.
that's nothing.
Other way around.
Yeah,
Forget
I don't.
that.
Who?
But anyways,
Nobody reads messages from bottom to
don't
up.
know.
What do you think?
I don't know. But anyway, so he told Mr. Dude to sell his tokens. Why? Why would he tell him that?
Yeah,
because whales are about to sell.
Selling.
Are whales about to sell, or did they already? Well, that text message came in at their Eastern time of 9:49. Here in California time, 9:49 would have been 6:49. 6:49 with this UTC timing or whatever, the military time would be 18:49. So when did these dumps start to happen? Looks like they started to happen about 2 minutes after that text message.
Right. So it isn't quite all adding up on our end with the evidence that is here, because we have the text message coming in at the 49
And
minute
whales,
mark.
whales are going to start to sell, he said.
Right.
And then he said in his video, whales sold. Nah, I don't know, man. I don't know. And,
Yeah.
And you apologized. And you know what you could do? What you could do is you could easily reverse this. All you have to do is buy back the tokens that you sold if you're actually sorry. You can do it. You can apologize and save whatever face you have left, and maybe your community will forgive you because of the pressure you're under. I get it. I mean, this stuff is super, super stressful.
Right.
Especially, like, for me, coming from, this is all brand new with people watching me and wondering what I'm doing. He did have some experience with that, but it is stressful. Like, as he talked about in another message.
Yeah.
Just a little bit here. He said, I kind of want to read this because I kind of took a little bit of sympathy with it. Because I felt, I know how stressful it is.
Yeah,
And
these are messages between Zook, which was one of the developers that he had recruited, I believe, from one of their communities, such as Discord, to help create this token, and Upshod. This is Zook is in blue, Upshod is in the white. I think this was through Facebook message. He finally got a hold of him.
So there were a lot of conspiracies. People couldn't get a hold of him. Maybe someone robbed him. Maybe something bad happened. So this guy messaged him, just, are you okay at least? And he responds, I'm tired and stressed. The last YouTube comment I got before all this happened was Upfraud. I didn't even want to do crypto. Duckley, I don't know who that is, talked me into it. Then he sold all his tokens. I gave him a few days in. I invested a lot of my money to get the whole thing set up. Then when it took off, I hear everybody else selling and making profits, but I can't.
Boo.
Well, hey, no, I get it, because you got so many eyes on you,
Yeah.
and even though you put in the most effort and you're the
Right.
most on the line, you have
Yeah.
so many eyes on you, and you're
Right.
allowed
Everyone
to make
wants to make their own money, and
you're allowed to make the least amount of money because
Right.
you got the most eyes on you. I get it. I mean, I get the feeling, but there's a difference between acting on it and having the feeling. But then he said, when it took off, everybody else selling, blah, blah. Then last night, when the whales started selling, I sold some of mine. Together, it all tanked the price. I kind of freaked out, and I started shutting everything down. Okay, I get it, but there's a difference between thinking about it and being like, this would just be so much easier to run away, or to be a man and stick it through and do what you said you were going to do.
Right. Which is create. And you did not, you didn't watch this with me, but I was listening in on that podcast. During that podcast that Steven Steele guy had going on, Zook, one of the developers, the one that they're talking about here, did go live into voice chat with him, and he admitted that he felt it was, the whole coin and the whole project it didn't feel right. He said it felt rushed. He felt uneasy about it. And that's one of the developers talking. So it's strange when I hear that from the developer, which he came off as like a super genuine dude who just got caught up in something that was over his head. And so hearing the developer side, and then hearing that Upshod in these text messages is saying that he felt he didn't even want to do it, when the developers themselves felt like the whole thing was a little sketch and a little rushed, it just doesn't add up. That's all I gotta say.
It doesn't, but it added up for his pocketbook.
For
So
sure.
There's that.
Yeah, there was a lot of crazy conspiracies. People were saying, like, especially in this podcast chat I was in, like, people in the chats were like thinking that they thought so highly of him that they thought that
Something must have happened.
Someone must have happened. Like someone came to his house and kidnapped him and hacked his computer and sold it off. Like, these were like legitimate theories that were coming out, which to me are just, I mean, strange things happen, but
You don't want to accept the
Yeah.
truth sometimes. You don't want to with a lot of things. Once you put,
Right.
especially money and your time and you
I
research something and you make a decision that I like this thing's okay.
No, I don't
So you
even-
can't really accept it.
I don't even think that for most of the
I
people
don't know.
that had anything to do with like their research or time or money, this was just Upshod's like community that he had been growing through his YouTube channel. He had like a lot of dedicated followers, so it was like with a lot of these projects we see, very emotional based reactions and actions.
Right.
I mean, people bought into the coin, even though to me it didn't really have a great utility. I mean, if I had heard about it, it has no function, so it's not deflationary, there's no rewards. Literally, the only way it's going to have value is just people keep buying it because it doesn't do anything.
Right, but it makes sense. I mean, if you just want to have something you can easily tip people with, I mean, I don't know. It's just
I don't
basic. But there's a
know.
million other things that
Yeah.
already exist that are identical to it. So
Right.
So-
So, it really
but-
took off because of his promotion behind it.
Right, he already had a following, and this was an easy paycheck, I guess.
Yeah.
So, but all the dollars that he ended up with, because somebody else lost them. That's the reality of it. And how much was
Right.
it? It was quite a bit, wasn't it? I don't know what the
Oh,
actual numbers were.
yeah, we didn't go too far into the transactions on this one because it was kind of just, I don't know how much it was.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the liquidity pool. I mean, I saw some transactions. There's like one account had
It's-
3 or 4 transactions,
And
for
it's hard to say
$20,000
because
right after each other.
hard to say because it wasn't like he dumped one wallet. He dumped multiple of these airdrop wallets. So we'd have to you have to go in, figure out if they were connected. Did he transfer anything between those wallets? Yeah. So he said of some of the airdrop wallets. So unless those were publicly known to the developers or the public.
Oh man, yeah, there was a lot of money. I'm just looking at the transactions. I mean, they probably had they had a few $100,000 in there. It looks like,
Oh, yeah.
but I don't know the exact numbers because I don't have all that in front of me. But there we go. You have anything else
Yeah.
to say on this one?
No,
I think,
I mean, so let's just think about this for a moment. I mean, Rugpulls. No one thought this dude was going to rug pull because he was uber doxxed, and
right,
there he
nobody
did.
thought.
People like to use there's a doxxed developer or a doxxed team as some sort of reassurance. It's just almost impossible to know
How
who's
could they?
gonna cave, who's gonna rug. Was it a rug from day zero? Did they cave under the pressure? Did they just get tired of it and want to walk away because the stress of having a large community looking at you all the time? You know, who knows? I mean, it's hard to say, but yeah, I mean, you could be. I mean, look at this. There's Upcoin. That developer's not doxxed, as far as I know.
I don't think he's gonna rug pull anything.
Yeah, and look at Upcoin's awesome. And then you have this Upcoin or Upshod guy, and he's uber doxxed, and there you go. I mean, it's impossible to say. You can only really look at like what are some?
I don't even know anymore.
I know
Okay.
there's been who knows anymore.
I mean, I had my first impressions, but
Yeah.
how do you know?
Yeah, and that was just based off of a hunch. And I think like what you were feeling when you saw that, when you're reading through that smart contract, was like more of like a yellow flag, like not like a hard yes or hard no, but it's just like it is something to look out for. It's hard to say. That was just your first impression.
Right.
Um,
Anything that's copy and pasted, I mean, you can tell there's not a lot of effort that went into it, which,
Yeah.
you know,
a lot of
What are their
them are
intentions?
copied and pasted.
almost all of them, in fact, almost all of them are.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, Ryan, what would you say with the knowledge, with our people already knowing that there's really not 100% way of saying yes or no? Give me like 3 things off the top of your head that you would personally look out for to avoid a rug pull.
God, I don't know. I don't know because, well, if there was a recent new something that was successful,
Mm-hmm.
and then all of a sudden there's all these things that look very, very similar.
Like,
Let's say.
okay, I have a great example of this. So like Everrise, new buyback feature, Kraken, super popular, and guess what? Nano Doge was
Nano Doge.
Nano Doge was modeled right after.
Right.
Modeled after Everrise, which
Right.
we will go into shortly. Which
But 3 things. That's what we were talking about.
Oh, yeah,
We'll get into Nano Doge in a minute here because we have a lot of juicy stuff here. But 3 things. 1. I don't know, man. It's hard. A hunch. I had a hunch. I was right.
Yeah.
The last few hunches I've had, I've been right.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of the internals and stuff, and I've been there, done that as far as creating one. So I know the motivations and the things that people are feeling and thinking behind the scenes when this stuff's going on. And I know how the comments make you feel when someone says up fraud. And I know. So
Yeah.
it's hard. It's hard because I feel like I was, this guy probably had more experience talking to the public than I did because he has his YouTube channel. But I understand the stress that he was in. I totally understand that.
Yeah.
Because when we launched ours, there's a good spike and then a little dip, and it's like I freaked out, but I'm like, I'm like, man, I hope that I don't get rugged before
Right.
I wake up in the morning by all
Yeah,
these
I mean,
people.
you and we all
Yeah.
have sat beside the not safe moon charts. I mean, we've seen some big dips, and it's like, yeah, it shakes you up a little bit, but it's like you're either gonna stand by the project or you're not.
Right. I mean, with everybody, the whole market, with Bitcoin coming down and everybody, the prices of every token have come down quite a bit. And then accompany that with that, we've done basically almost zero marketing to pump things up. I mean, there's quite a big dip, but I'm still working on the thing every day. I've sold no tokens except for in the very beginning. I sold a little bit, and
Right.
I have sold none after that, and I'm still working on it every single day.
Yeah.
But I get the stress. I get it. I get how some people can feel that way, and if you're
Right.
not able to man up and finish what you started out to, unless that's what you started out to do, then maybe you
Right.
did finish.
And it's really impossible to say. I mean, this could have been his kind of
Exit strategy. who knows?
yeah. I mean, because I don't know what's going on with. Why would he have a bunch of wallets for airdrops?
I don't know anything
That's
else
just,
about it.
Yeah, it's just odd to me because you'll shortly find out later in the video when we talk about Nano Doge how easy it is to make it appear.
But you say three things.
But-
I don't think three things exist because it's a broad spectrum of factors, and it's so hard to tell.
So it's just really 100% gamble every time. Yeah. The only way to not get rugged is just not invest in the first place.
Yes, that's true. If you don't want to get rugged in, cryptocurrency,
Yeah.
don't buy cryptocurrency. That's the only foolproof method.
Yeah.
Okay? That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah. All
That's it.
right.
Don't buy it if you feel like you can't get rugged. Don't put more money into it than you're willing to lose, because people exist that are bad and people exist that are good, and there are great actors that are bad people.
Why you gotta be so nasty? You nasty, he nasty, she nasty. Play me something nasty.